Yo, it's Dale. There's one fear that connects every CS player, from silver to face-it grinders. Launching the game and seeing those words, VAC ban. And the worst part isn't cheaters, it's the thought that it might happen when you did nothing wrong. For the first time in a long while, Valve officially admitted it. There was a mistake. A small number of CS2 players received VAC bans by error, and those bans are being removed. No drama, no big announcement, just a dry line in the patch notes. But in reality, this is extremely rare. VAC almost never admits mistakes, and it even more rarely rolls bans back publicly. So today, let's break it down calmly and by the facts. Now let's slow things down and go through this properly, without panic or conspiracy theories. In the official CS2 patch notes, Valve included a short but very important line. A case was fixed where a small number of users received an erroneous VAC ban, and those bans will be removed. The key words here are erroneous and small number. This is not a mass unban, not an amnesty, and not VAC is broken. It's a specific bug that affected a limited group of accounts. It's important to understand how VC works in the first place. It's fully automated, it doesn't review reports, it doesn't manually watch demos, and it doesn't ban based on vibes. If VC triggers, the ban is normally permanent. That's why rollbacks are extremely rare. And that's the main point here. If Valve themselves say the ban was erroneous, it means the issue was in the system, not the players. That's also why these bans are being removed automatically, without support tickets or appeals. So this isn't lucky players getting unbanned. This is the system failed and the system was fixed. See the promo code on the screen. Don't wait for a lucky chance. Luck is already on your side. Enter the promo code on our website and collect top loot from GGDrop. Have fun hunting. And this is where things get interesting. Why did this update make so much noise in the first place? Because VAC bans almost never get rolled back, ever. Throughout Counter-Strike's history, the policy has been extremely strict. If VAC bans you, the system is considered 100% certain, end of story. Support won't help you, emails won't help, and saying "I played legit" definitely won't help. Even if you swore on your entire inventory, a VAC ban was treated as final. That's why VAC always had this aura of fear and absolute authority. This time, Valve did something extremely rare. They didn't just quietly fix something in the background, they openly wrote in the patch notes that the system made a mistake and that the bans will be removed. That's not standard practice, that's an exception. In simple terms, Valve basically said, "We're confident this was a bug and we're publicly acknowledging it." For a company that spent years standing behind the idea that VAC doesn't make mistakes, that's a big move. That's why this story isn't really about a handful of unbanned accounts. It's about trust. If an anti-cheat can occasionally misfire, what matters is that, in rare cases, Valve is willing to admit it and fix it. Now for the practical part, how these bans are actually being removed. Valve made this clear right away. This is not about support tickets or appeals. If an account was affected by that specific bug, the VAC ban is removed automatically after the update. No emails, no forms, no "prove you're innocent." And this is where people shouldn't do something stupid. If you've had a VAC ban for years and you're hoping it magically disappears, that's not how this works. This rollback only applies to a very specific case, and a very specific time window where the system malfunctioned. The logic is simple. If you were affected by the bug, the ban will vanish on its own. If you weren't, no update is going to save you. Of course, the community reacted instantly, and as usual, very emotionally. The first wave was panic. People started checking their accounts, messaging each other, posting screenshots and asking, "Is this really a bug or are we about to see random bans everywhere?" Because when it comes to VAC, nobody jokes around. Then came the second wave, confirmation. Players who were actually hit by the erroneous ban started reporting that it disappeared on its own. No emails, no support tickets. Just update the game, and the VAC ban was gone. But along with relief came distrust. A lot of players immediately thought, if the system messed up once, could it happen again? And does that mean VAC is basically a lottery now? That's where the mood settled into something mixed. On one hand, it's good to see Valve admit a mistake and roll it back. On the other hand, the fear doesn't fully go away. VAC is still a black box. You don't really know what triggered it, how it works, or why it acted up at that exact moment. So the community reaction ended up being very on brand for CS. Nice that you fixed it, but we're still not fully convinced. Now the big question everyone actually cares about. What does this mean for you as a regular player? Short answer, there's no reason to panic. VAC didn't suddenly turn into a random lottery, it's not banning everyone for no reason, and it hasn't gone rogue. This was a very specific bug that Valve identified and fixed. If you play legit, don't use third-party software, and don't try to game the system. Nothing really changes for you. VAC is still strict, and that part hasn't softened. But there is a positive side. This situation showed something important. When the anti-cheat genuinely messes up, Valve is now willing to acknowledge it and undo the damage. Not with dramatic apologies, but the Valve way. Quietly and effectively. So the right takeaway is this: VAC still doesn't forgive cheaters, but it's also not a soulless machine that can never admit a mistake. And for honest players, that actually increases trust rather than breaking it. And finally, what does this whole situation mean for the future of CS2? Valve could have quietly fixed the bug and pretended nothing happened. Instead, they left a clear line in the patch notes. Yes, there was an erroneous VAC ban, and yes, it's being rolled back. For Valve, that's unusual. Issues like this are normally swept under the rug. So this story isn't about VAC is bad or VAC is perfect. It's about the anti-cheat in CS2 being a living system, one that can make mistakes but now at least has a way to undo them. Here's the final takeaway. Without slogans or illusions, VAC in CS2 is still a strict closed system. It didn't suddenly become soft, it didn't turn friendly, and it definitely didn't stop banning cheaters. People who cheat will still get caught, and that's how it should be. But this situation proved one important thing. Even a system like VAC can make mistakes. And while admitting that used to be unthinkable, Valve is now at least willing, in rare cases, to acknowledge the error and undo the damage. For legit players, this isn't a reason to relax, and it's not a reason to panic either. It's simply a reminder that anti-cheat isn't magic. It's a tool that's constantly being worked on, tuned, and sometimes fixed. So if you play clean, keep playing and don't overthink it. And when someone yells VAC is broken, chances are you're just hearing another player who got hit exactly the way the system was designed to work.